invaders, we all know the struggle of killing what we call a summoner. Now, some people use the term summoner as like this derogatory term, like, oh, they're a dirty ganker. But really, they're just looking for some support against an invader. But even so, we don't really want to fight two people at once, so we're going to take this guy from 100 to 0 as fast as possible. And for me in this case, just absolutely the coolest way possible. I mean, who doesn't love a good rolling backstab? I hit him with the Undead Hunter Charm because I can't risk him healing while the Phantom is on his way. By the time the Phantom shows up, it's already too late. So we've done our job here, and we did it in a flashy and efficient style, but it's not always going to be this easy. Sometimes you're going to get one of those guys who just wants to roll around and wait for their friends to come back, and those are the instances that I'm going to talk about today. So this is like what seems to be, you know, your usual squad of players playing through the level. None of these guys are bad at the game, and they're not like intentionally trying to gank. But I had a lot of fun doing this. You're about to see something really frustrating for me, which is if I can land like even a single hit on the host, I can probably win this invasion right now, and I just whiff 3 times and then get put in an absolute blender. So that's frustrating. Could have ended it right there. I'm just a little too thirsty right here, and I really need to retreat. Foolishly go for 2 swings trying to break his guard, but they're just on me way too fast, and I get put in a little mini blender again. During the invasion, I thought this whole elevator feign was like a really smooth move on my part, but it was actually pretty stupid because if they had even hit me once, I would have just been dead. Now, the party is smart and not to follow me up here because then it's just an absolute gauntlet all the way up to Lothric and Lorien. But I'm also not just going to fight them in a small room 3-on-1. The gold points down, so I instinctively point back up, and they are so thoroughly intimidated by my gall to point back up that they retreat back down to the bonfire I guess to wait for me there, like they were expecting me to follow. So obviously I don't do that. I wait them out until they get too bored and they decide to cosplay as some furniture. And you know, I appreciate them coming back out and being silly about it, so I give them some spins with my Dark Moon Blade looking buff. But ultimately I'm here to kill them, so that's what I start trying to do. This gold is just extremely thirsty, and thirsty players with the Sellsword Twin Blades are a really good matchup for me. Because I can poise through basically all of his attacks, and then roll catch him when he tries to get out of them as well, this Phantom dies before I think he even really realized that he was in danger of dying. So the White Phantom gets outspaced exactly once, and then totally abandons the Ultra Greatsword, which I'm thankful for, because I kind of struggle against fighting big, heavy weapons. So he switches to the Dagger combo, which I know is not a great matchup for my Greatsword, so I immediately switch to the Aquamarine Dagger. Nice thing about the Aquamarine Dagger is it somehow is faster than like the regular dagger moveset, even in its transformed state. So you're basically getting straight sword-ish damage with the speed of a dagger. The only trade-off is that you are immobile for a little bit. Also, you get absolutely insane chip damage. Just look at me like work through this guy's shield. So the White Phantom's dead, but in my bloodlust and tunnel vision for killing the White Phantom, I've kind of lost the host. But I know he didn't go out here, so I look around the room and that thing looks pretty off, so I'm going to go hit him a few times. So I assumed now that the host probably just wants to fight me, so I'm going to switch back to my Ultra Greatsword, and getting ready for a fight, get ready for the fight at least, and that doesn't seem to be quite what he wants to do. So I'm like letting him run around because I'm like, oh, what does he want to do? Does he like want to fight? Does he want to get to a better location to fight? But no, he's just gonna run around in a little circle over and over again. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, I'll chase him down. But this is like where I learn a big lesson, and I'm glad I caught this on recording of me just like learning this lesson. The Aquamarine Dagger is a pretty niche case. It is not great for chasing people down like this. It's not great for chasing down summoners. It is great for chasing down people who are trying to just make a little bit of space so they can heal because they're about to die. But whittling away health is not a viable strategy. It has no like horizontal range, so you can only pretty much hit things like right in front of you. See, he's like always getting around me, so I know I need to switch to something else that will be able to get that kind of horizontal range. So So I take a page out of Skater the Tryhard's playbook and switch to the straight sword. The straight sword truly is the best strategy for catching summoners, just because the range is kind of ridiculous. It has an enormous phantom range. The swing speed is great, and the damage is also pretty good. And basically what I'm going to do here is just whittle away at his health. He might be able to get away from me for a little bit, but I can punish all of his heals. I can do decent damage, so he's having to burn Estus, and he's going to be looking to summon his friends, so I'm going to make that as hard as possible for him. Again, like, the Estus punishes are what's key here. With the Aquamarine Dagger, I can maybe do, like, a couple hundred damage, like 100 or 200 damage as an Estus punish. Here I can get him in possibly a 3-hit combo with the R1, R2 roll catch. At a certain point, I can kind of have to admire this host for just being such an annoyance, just like refusing to fight me, just running around. Like during the parts I was fast forwarding through, I probably was annoyed by it, but now I kind of admire it. Like, this is some pretty extreme dedication to not fighting, just running around. Kind of get punished here by going back to the Aquamarine Dagger, because the moment I do that, he summons up one of his buddies. So switch right back to the straight sword. Nice thing is that now when he tries to turn around and run past me, I can actually hit him with something. So it's inevitable at this point. I think he's out of Estus. The gold is gonna get summoned in here, but at that point it doesn't really matter. I just need to land one hit on this host, and it's over. But yeah, this is ultimately just one giant learning experience for me, of just like, okay, when summoners want to wander on the bonfire, switch to the straight sword. That's the only thing that's going to get the job done. Give him some L1 waggles, and then go outside to scream internally. So my lesson's been learned about using a straight sword for summoners. But I would just like to point out, man, dual charms. Again, no good reason to take more damage than you need to. So I thought this was just like, oh, it's your usual like 1v1, let's duel the host at the bonfire. But here's this purple phantom. I think he's using like the Marion blade, which I never see, which is pretty cool. But I was like, oh, cool. Are you on my team? No, you're on the host team. I think this guy was like clearly like summoned in, because this guy does not have a drive finger active. I'm pretty sure. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm fighting like a pretty cool gang squad, like a gang squad that can actually like hit each other. That doesn't have like friendly fire turned off. I'm gonna use my usual greatsword tactics of outspacing and roll catching. This guy seems to be a little bit inexperienced and pretty thirsty, so I just let him swing into my hyper armor and finish him off. So with the dead phantom, we're going to see what we often see, which is the host just sprinting back to the bonfire the moment one of their phantoms dies. However, I'm expecting him to actually like fight me now, to give me that 1v1 bonfire duel that's totally fair when they have twice the Estus and 30% more health. Yada yada yada, usual invasion complainings. But I notice he's not even fighting back, which means that he is just waiting to summon his friends. So we're going to go ahead and switch to the straight sword, because I actually learned something in the last evasion. So right around here, he's just going to stop completely, which means that's where the summon sign is located. So I'm going to kind of do my best to defend that little spot. I'm going to try to keep him away from it, prevent him from summoning his friends, and when he does go over there, I'm just going to stay right up on his ass. He's gonna, try to work his way back there. But I'm just not, I'm not gonna let him just stand around and summon his friends. When they stop moving completely, that means like that's what they're doing, every single time. But ultimately, like, that's fine. He gets me here. He finally is able to start summoning his friend, but that's okay, because I've done enough damage to him that he doesn't have a whole lot of health left, and he doesn't have space to really heal, because he sacrificed space to heal for summoning his buddy. That ultimately costs him, and I win the invasion. That's all I really had to say today. I hope you learned something, because I sure as hell did. Anyways, thanks for watching.